So this year for 2024, I used a lot of different pieces of backpacking gear that were a lot of fun and enjoyable to take out and test. But there are a few items that I would not buy again. I think there's better options out there on the market, or there's just something slightly different that is better performance, less money, and just overall a better product and works better for me and my backpacking needs. These are items that I've either purchased myself, or some of them are things that have been supplied as a sample from the company, but I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna tell you straight up how I feel about these things. And we're gonna start first with a sleeping pad, and that is the Nemo Tensor Trail. This is a pad that I would put on the do not buy list for one very specific reason, and that has to do with the R value of the pad when you compare it to the bigger brother, which is the Tensor All Season. This is an R value of under 3, and this is an R value of over 5. Now these are essentially the exact same sleeping pad minus the R value. This has one layer of metallized like Mylar insulation in it, and this has 2 layers of insulation in it. For not that much more weight as well as not that much more money, this is the way better buy. This is still a great summer pad in my opinion. You're not gonna be overly warm and too hot with this pad being at that R value of 5. In fact, very often in higher elevations and such, you can still have really cold temperatures where having that higher R value makes a big difference in your experience. Now, next up here is something that got a lot of hype and marketing around it when it was first released, and this is the Flextail Gear Zero Pump. This is something that I've even talked about in a very positive way in the past. So after a lot of testing, do I recommend it? Do I think it is a good option and a replacement for a pump sack or using your lungs to blow up a sleeping pad? I absolutely think so. And I actually would say that it still is a great piece of gear, but over time, through all of this year, I have found myself leaving it behind more and more often and just using the pump sack that's included with my sleeping pad versus taking this, because the pump sack is just as fast. And I have also had very slight issues with the pump here as well. Essentially what has happened is the output of it is not nearly as strong as it was when it was brand new. I don't know if the fan is starting to go bad in it, or the battery has an issue and it's just not charging up as much, but it's not as quick and efficient as it was when it was brand new. I think the better buy still is to go with the Flextail Tiny Pump X2. Still an air pump, and if you are choosing to carry an air pump, I think that this is the better buy. Now this is going to be louder than the Zero Pump at higher decibels, but the output of this is way stronger and it's multi-use. You have the lantern feature on there as well, so I can hang this in my tent. It becomes a redundant thing that I have my headlamp, but then I also have this. It just provides more value, I think, than having a single pump like this, and the price point, it makes sense to just go with the Tiny Pump X. So another sleeping gear item is a pillow. Man, I have loved the Philo pillow for a long time, but I have just kind of realized that it's not quite exactly everything I want out of a pillow. I love the memory foam topper on it. It's really comfortable, but it lacks the height that I want out of a pillow. I'm a side sleeper and I really want additional height to make it so that my neck is not getting all kinked and weird and such. I did sew this little elastic piece onto the pillow, which has been nice in holding it in place. But for what this pillow is, I think there's better options out there on the market, specifically for side sleepers. And that's where the ZenBivy soft top pillow has really been a game changer for me in my sleep. Look at the difference in the height of these two pillows. This is huge as a side sleeper. This has a air bladder inside and then a down topper on top. So it's going to compress down similar to the memory foam of the Philo that you have here, but it's more comfortable. It cradles your head better and just creates a more enjoyable sleep experience. And when I'm using it with the ZenBivy sheet, which has been one of my favorite sleep systems of the year, I have these clips that clip into the sheet, and it makes it so it stays in place. And I can really easily add another layer of a jacket or whatever to increase the height as well. That way, this has just been a way better sleep experience than the Philo. Now, I shouldn't say that I will never use the Philo again, because I do like it, but it just needs more height. And this is simply a better option for me to just get better sleep. Now, this piece of gear might come as a surprise to you. This is the REI Flash Air 50. This is a pack that genuinely I've enjoyed. It's been fun to use. It's designed well, it carries well. I've used it out guiding students and out on several other trips, and I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. But when you compare it to the value that you get out of the sibling, the Flash 55, this is the better buy. It's less money, it carries more weight, and it's a little bit larger in its capacity, but it's also more versatile than you have out of the Air 50. So this is made with a fancy fabric that's a little bit stronger, but it has less things going on with it to reduce the weight, and the frame system of it is less robust. So you're not going to be able to carry as much weight in this. In fact, like maximum 30 pounds has been my experience with this pack, versus I've been over 40 pounds in the 55 liter, and it's been plenty comfortable and a really enjoyable pack. But from a versatility standpoint, the top lid is removable and it's still roll top. You have an adjustable torso on this as well, so it's more flexible that way. And I think for the price point, the Flash 55 is just a better pack in my opinion. I'm not saying don't ever buy this pack again or that I would never use it again, but when this is still available on the market, this is the better buy. Save your money and don't go with this, go with this. Let's talk about the last piece of gear, and this is the MSR Hubba Hubba LT1. This was brand new for 2024, and I think was, to put it lightly, a little bit of a flop from MSR. I hate to be harsh, but the price point of this is the biggest issue that I have with this tent. You can go watch my full review of this. I think it is a great design, and they did a good job in the execution of it, in making sure that it was a true, honest, good update to the previous generation of the Hubba Hubba. But it's a very expensive tent for being a nylon tent as well, and for what it provides from a size and space standpoint as a one-person tent, there's better options out there on the market that have come out this year. I personally have really enjoyed the Hill Zero Scout one-person camo version tent, but it's a bigger space. It's got 2 doors, 2 vestibules, and I've enjoyed it more on my trips than I have in using the Hubba Hubba. And that's not to say that this isn't a good tent, because it is a good tent. It's performed well and I've enjoyed it, but there's better options at a lower price point than what you pay for this. That Hill Zero being one option, but then also the newly released X-Dome from Durston Gear that is a significant price reduction versus what you would pay for this, and you get much more floor space out of it than you get out of this. And then another option that I talk about in my review of the Hubba Hubba LT is the Tarp Tent Rainbow. Lots of other things that are available on the market at a lower price point, more livability than you get out of this, and I think that there's just better buys. There's just better options out there, unless MSR can significantly reduce the cost of this and make it more approachable from that standpoint. Those are the pieces of gear for 2024 that I've used and tested and had out in the field and such that just didn't really jive. So thanks for watching today, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll see you later.